page is all wrinkly.
You're not wrinkly, Dan.
No, my pages were.
I know. I was turning it around.
That's why you just got to keep gaining weight your whole life and you never get wrinkly.
You know what? I'm already doing that, and it wasn't even for that reason.
There you go. Not wrinkly.
That's the first time of my life I've been ahead of the game. Congratulations, me.
Good job, Tony.
Thank you.
Did something right.
It's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. Hey, watching with Dan and Tony. It's Hey Watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I am Purple Dan.
I am Tie-Dye Tony.
Tie-
Oh, that's an alliteration.
Oh, it's a tie-dye Tony.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tie-Dye Tonys.
Give me some of those 60s meatballs.
Give me that capricoli. Is that ham? Capricoli? I feel like I'm close.
No. I don't think capricoli is a thing.
Hey, capricolis. If I say it like that, it sounds like a thing, and people will believe me.
Capricoli sounds like a type of pasta. But
Capicola? What? There's a type?
Capicola, I think, is something.
That's what I think I meant. Let's reset. Capicola ham.
It's a capicola ham.
And the pepperoncinis. Now I'm going Italian for some reason.
Finely sliced. Finely sliced. So yeah, on this podcast / YouTube slow / whatever else you want to say, we're
194 episodes. This is the first time you've ever mentioned YouTube.
You know, we're easing in.
Easing in. Good for you. You don't want to do too much at once. I'm proud of you.
This is why I could never have been an actor, is because I cannot do the same thing twice in a row. It's literally impossible for me.
It's pretty much all I can do. If you ask me to change it, I'm like, I'll just leave the room. I can't. Thanks for having me at this audition. Don't give me any redirects.
Nope. Boom. So on this show, we watch a movie. And this week, Tony picked the movie.
Well, God picked the movie. He handed it to us on a silver platter. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Spoiler alert. It's not frozen for very long.
You know, and there's not the guy doesn't really run an empire.
He doesn't do diddly squat.
This movie has very little to do with cold and being cold, really.
Yeah. Or empires. It's just kind of, people running around doing almost nothing.
Maybe it should have been Ghostbusters 5. Some cold stuff sort of happens at the end.
It's a bit chilly.
A couple of weeks ago, I said, we were kind of winding down because we're running out of movies. I went on Rotten Tomatoes and I looked at like all the new movies in theaters. Not that we would do a lot of them, but they were all just like 14 Rotten Tomatoes, 18. I mean, I
don't know why you thought we were running out of movies. We're never going to run out of movies, Dan. I promise you. The one thing that won't happen is we run out of movies. We might quit. We might have a falling out, but we'll never run out of movies.
It doesn't look that way. Yeah, so Ghostbusters Frozen Empire 2024, an hour and 55 minutes. We brought back the whole cast, and since we had that big cast in the first movie, we thought we really better interject like 5 or 6 new characters.
A couple more, just the cherry on top. Well, because it worked so well last time, and everyone was so mad that there wasn't enough characters in the first one. They were like, boy, I feel like we're really underplaying this. Let's bring in more people. So it's great. It's great that they listen to the fans.
So Maureen Hudson, James Acaster is in here playing a guy that works at another Ghostbusters facility, sort of, somewhere.
Yeah, type of thing.
And then who else was there? Yeah, all the other characters.
Kumail.
Kumail's, and then Kumail comes in there in like one of the most disjointed roles of all time, where he plays one character, then as he's in the middle of playing that character, he sort of abandons that character, and then he starts just doing Kumail because it was just too much work for him to actually play a character.
To be fair, I prefer that. Like once that switch happened, I was like, oh, okay, here he is. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, no, the initial character he tries to play, is like a weird, poor
in
hustler
his
guy.
Defense, Dan, here's what I'm going to say is characters are not the strong suit of these Ghostbuster sequels. That's not one of the things they're very good at.
What is the thing that they're very good at?
Boring me. They're very good at that.
And the thing about this movie is it doesn't. What was the movie we did last week? Oh, well, we did the Die Hard movie a couple weeks ago, and that movie
Yeah.
is just like. I mean, this movie at least, like, you know, the train makes an amount of sense. Does it blend together to make you interested in caring about the characters, or, you know, being engaged? No, but like in that Die Hard movie, that first half of the movie, it was a hard time even understanding what was happening. This
Yeah.
movie's like, well, we just made this other movie, so let's just it's your classic 90s second one. Let's just make the same movie again, but with an extra 2%.
Sure.
And so it's the same gags that we had in the first movie. Here they are all again.
I feel like there's less gags. I feel like they took 80% of the gags because they were just too tired. They're like, we tried so hard on the first one. Let's take it a little easier because it's not as funny. And not that I thought the first one was hilarious, but I feel like there were less jokes in this one.
Well, I mean, I only laughed once.
I think I laughed twice. I'm excited to hear what you laughed at.
And I mean, you know, this is another thing I normally want to say is I wanted more Finn Wolfhard, and I wanted more of the girl that he was,
because they didn't do anything.
He was gone from this
He's a
movie.
waste of space, and not. I don't even. As an anti-Finner, as I have dubbed myself, this is not his fault. I felt the same way. We got to the 2/3 through the movie. I was like, is he even in this film? He has done nothing.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame.
Yeah, and Carrie Coon as the mom, you're just like, man, she gets to be a scold a couple of times, and then
that's about it.
Not there. It's kind of Phoebe's movie, but they're like,
but also not really, because they strip away. They strip away.
To make it Phoebe's movie.
Yes.
Terrified of making it Phoebe's movie.
They knew that she was the best character in the first one, so they understood what they needed to do, but they just wouldn't do it.
Nope.
They're like, okay, we'll make a movie kind of about her, but we're not going to give her anything to do.
Nope.
We're going to take away everything that made her interesting in the first movie. All of her fun snark, not in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's nothing. And I like her a lot. I don't know who she is, but she's great.
She's good.
Not in this movie.
No.
There's nothing. It's so thin. Wafer thin.
This is one of the thinnest movies we've ever done, because it's just like everybody needs to be on screen, and they're like, they don't even get a chance to make the joke.
No, you have Bill Murray in the movie. He makes 2 jokes. That can't be right.
There's
no way.
He made more than 2, but
Are you sure?
He had one. He made
I think
one
I only
joke.
laughed at 2 of them.
Well, okay. Well, he had one joke at one point, and then he got to roll a little when they were in the firehouse. He had a few things.
He said
when he showed up with the fire.
I don't remember what the line is, but that one made me laugh. That's the only one I remember. That's it. And then he had one joke with Kumail when they first meet, when we first see him. And those are the only 2 jokes I remember from pretty much the whole film.
Just jumping ahead, he and Kumail are doing a little bit, and it is what I would call a little bit. They don't even allow them to make 3 or 4 jokes.
There's no time to breathe. Like, we make the bit, we get out. That's it. We'll set it, do one joke, and now we're done. Next scene.
This movie does not overstay. It's
which is the original Ghostbusters. There's lots of bits, right? They go on runs. That's what you do with these comedians. They are comedians. Let them comede. I know that's not a word, comede, but I don't know what the action of being a comedian would be. So I'm going to say comede.
Yeah. And this is kind of like Unfrosted, where you're just like, you got these people. If you aren't spending hours on set figuring out how to make Amy Schumer funny, because Amy Schumer can be funny. I know she can be funny.
So you say.
She can. I know.
I have recency bias, Dan, so the last thing I saw you in is the only thing that matters.
Wasn't she good in Trainwreck?
No.
Oh, she wasn't.
LeBron was surprisingly good in Trainwreck. Bill Hader is charming.
Yeah.
I don't remember her being particularly great. I only saw that movie once.
Me
I'm
too.
going to be honest.
Huh.
I
Okay,
don't know.
so Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. We go to New York oldie times, 1904. The Manhattan Adventurers Club. It's gotten cold, so they call the fire department. The fire department opens the door. All the adventurers are frozen. There's something playing on the Victrola, and then there's a
Yeah.
person holding an orb who you're not sure if they're frozen or not frozen.
Well, just on that point, Dan, I never know who's frozen or not frozen because apparently it doesn't matter. Because you can freeze and unfreeze within seconds and you're fine. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like the guy who touches the door, this fire guy who touches the door handle at first, or his hands on the door to feel the heat or whatever, and his hand freezes. It freezes, he screams, and then he just pulls his hand away and then it's fine.
Oh, really?
How does that work? I don't understand.
I mean, at the end of this movie, they kill all of New York, and then when they kill the bad guy, they're like, nope, New York's fine.
We did a great job. Everyone's safe. I don't know.
You know, and that's the sort of classic thing is a movie like this, you can't cause so much mayhem, but you have to cause so much mayhem because Marvel movies have caused so much mayhem.
And this is totally off topic, so I apologize, but so many people were upset with Zack Snyder's Man of Steel because he caused the damage and then was like, hey, we caused this damage. There is fallout. These people are dead. People are mad. And everyone's like, what is good? Superman wouldn't destroy a city. Yes, he would. Because he's flying around superpowered, fighting superpowered people. Things get destroyed all the time. We just don't care. And Zach was like, what if we cared? And nobody liked it. Bad idea.
That's not what superhero movies are about. They're about the big guys destroying the cities and the world. They're about them saving it. So
through gentle means, apparently.
Yes, Tony.
Yes. Rewind the earth.
He can always rewind the earth and fix everything. So there you go. So basically, there's a evil entity. It's going to be locked in this puzzle ball until it gets out. Okay.
Which happens 90 minutes into a 2-hour movie?
What do you mean? It should have gotten out earlier?
Or something. I would have loved something to happen earlier, Dan. So here's what, in general, right? This opening scene sets a Frozen theme, but nothing actually happens in this scene, right?
No.
He's already somehow in the ball, even though everyone's frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we didn't see a fight.
Yeah, and then we can't see the fight because we're going to see the same fight at the end of the movie.
Right. No, I mean, I agree with that. I agree that is the problem. But my problem is this is called Frozen Empire. Yeah. And there's a little cold in the beginning. And then the world isn't frozen until 90 minutes into the movie. This scene where they're on the beach. Yeah. And the cloud is coming, freezing cloud. I don't know what the hell that is.
Didn't make any sense.
That's the first scene of the movie. To me, the very first scene of your movie is kids playing on the beach. Oh, we're having a great time. Little kid playing with his little dollies. And then the world freezes, icicles down. And then we have to deal with the problem. Ghostbusters come and something's going on. That's the start of your movie. That's not the start of your third act for me. That is the beginning of the movie, and then we build from there. This movie's so anticlimactic because that's the climax. A beach getting cold and then them fighting an ice guy. Nothing. There's nothing. There's no build to it. Anyhow, I didn't like this movie, Dan.
That's our review. Yeah, we'll talk about that scene too, because that scene felt like it was not part of the movie. It felt like they made that scene for the trailer.
It was the trailer, but it doesn't happen until 90. That's what I'm saying. Like that trailer sets up. You're like, this is what this movie's about. No, it isn't. That's what 20 minutes of the movie's about.
And even my point is that isn't really how this movie should have happened.
Why is that?
Why would he? Well, we'll talk about it when we get to it. But why does
that's
he come
what
off?
People want to see.
Why does he come off of the ocean?
Oh, okay. I understand. I have no idea. I don't. But okay. So in what I'm saying is that the whole movie's wrong.
we're having
this
two
is
different
bad.
points. I understand
Yeah.
that. Your thing is there should have been some actual action that the second act should have been New York
It's
being
called
frozen.
Frozen Empire. There should be some sort of Frozen Empire in the movie. And then maybe we deal with said Frozen Empire at some point. None of that happens.
Well, I think the second Ghostbusters is called City of Slime or something. Slime.
Okay. Do they
Slime
deal
time.
with any slime in it?
Well, there's a whole river of slime down beneath that they
Look
have
at
to
that.
investigate,
Wow.
and that leads to them.
Oh, they have to. So it happens early, and then they investigate it, and then they solve the problem. Wow. Who would think of such a weird way to tell a story?
No, this movie we have to do like a lot of emotional things and then set up a bunch
For
of
nothing.
random
There is
things.
zero payoff to this ghost girlfriend. Oh my God.
No, she has that one single match. That's the big payoff.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Did you know that was coming,
Spoilers.
by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Dan Goodsell,
I'm the worst.
you're not good at it. They telegraph this so hard. She's playing with it every 2 seconds. And you're like, okay, well, that's going to matter at some point. And then Kumail's like, I don't have any fire. And you're like, okay, well, there's the end of the movie. Thanks, guys. Ridiculous. I've never seen someone push so hard for something like that. It is silly.
For something that's pretty clumsy. Yeah, it's very clumsy.
Oh, my God.
So, boom, here comes Ecto 1, brrr, driving around New York City. Brrr. It's Gary and Kelly and Trevor and Phoebe all back to do the same exact scene
only
again.
Remember Phoebe's name.
I wrote them all down, that's why.
That's great. That's a really good move. I wouldn't have been able to tell you anyone's name except for Phoebe.
And then I put them in little boxes, and then they're easy to find.
My reference key, so I always know.
They're chasing the Hell's Kitchen sewer dragon. Yes. Carrie Coon's Kelly, the mom, is playing the giant bitch again. I know you're with me here in the car and you're going to do a thing, but fucking don't do it, you stupid child.
That's pretty good, Dan.
Face plant.
Now, Dan.
Okay.
The original Ghostbusters, right?
3 bachelor men.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They all had characters, right? Like they had individual skills, like things they're good at in science.
I'm a nerd. I'm excited about it. I'm just Bill Murray. Nobody knows why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, to save the movie is why Bill Murray's there.
No, I understand.
But right, they have their own things, right?
Yeah.
What are these people good at?
You mean why would you hire them as Ghostbusters?
Yeah, why are they a ghost-busting team? What are they each individually good at that will solve a problem?
Why would Kelly, the mom from the first movie, be dressed up in a suit and doing a thing?
And not only that, why is she the one flying the drone in this scene?
She got turned into a dog in the first movie. That's why
So did Paul Rudd.
It, and that's what they have. They do a high five thing. We got turned into dogs. That's why we're here.
And then they made a sex joke, which I did giggle at. So what are they good at? What this ghost-busting team that is supposed to replace the old ghost-busting team? What are these people good at? There's only one person on this entire team that's good at anything, and that's Phoebe. Trevor's just, a loser teenager that can't be good at anything. He should be the one flying the drone, in my opinion, because he's like, I'm a teenager, so I can do tech, right? Yep. I feel like that's a pretty easy thing. Why is the mom flying a drone? Has she ever flown a drone? Does she play with toys? Has she played a video game? Why is she flying a drone? And then Gary's the driver. I'm fine with that if that's his role. Like, he can't do anything else other than drive. I don't know. But no one has any skills. No, this isn't a team.
They all put on proton packs. They all know how to use them, and they're all good at it. I saw this in the movie.
Good at it.
And someone, I'm assuming someone answers the phone. I don't know who answers the phone. And there's someone.
I mean, who knows?
That
we don't get to see that.
They get paid somehow. I don't know. Maybe they get paid.
Nah, not a chance. There's no way that they get paid.
People know to call them, I suppose. I don't know.
I don't know either, Dan.
The one thing they did fix was they did a thing where they showed the television stuff and explained that what happened in New York was a thing everybody remembers and did happen.
And they had the toys. That was something I did enjoy. Is they had the old Ghostbuster trap toy where you step on it and it shoots air out to open the trap. I loved that thing. I had 3 of them. So I thought that was cool that was like an in-universe thing now that the toys came out. That's all great. These new people aren't Ghostbusters.
Yep, but they are now. That's what they're doing.
Nope.
And
So my point is, sorry, Dan, is that at least in the Lady Ghostbusters movie, they were all good at things. Nobody's good at things in this movie except for Phoebe.
Well, there's no reason. That the whole thing is there's no reason for the plot of what happens in this movie.
None at all. None at all.
But they did it anyways because we're all Spanglers.
Except for he's not a Spangler.
At one point, Phoebe yells at her mom and tells her that she's not a Spangler.
Yeah, I think what she's saying is that she's too dumb. Like the whole point of being a Spangler is to be smart, and she's dumb. I think is what they were going for. It's basically what I'm saying is she's not good at anything, and she shouldn't be a Ghostbuster
because she is Egon's kid, right?
Yeah, daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, dude.
Here's my question to you.
Well, I got an answer.
Is Mom and Paul Rudd, they're married?
I don't know if they're actually married. Well, but he does say step teacher.
They say it at the end that they're married.
So I guess, yeah, maybe. I mean, they did have sex in the first movie, so as dogs. So you
they're married.
You gotta get married.
They're
I guess
married.
So. Sure, why not?
Did they act even for a moment like they're married at any point?
No. Did they kiss? I don't even think they kiss in this movie.
Nope.
Well, then, yeah, they act like they're married. Oh! Yes!
It's such a miss to not have them.
It's weird.
Be into each other. They're not even into each other. They don't even seem like they're well, we kind of, you're hot, I'm hot, but they don't seem interested in each other.
Character work, not their forte here. Okay.
Well, I mean, you got to kind of write in their relationship because they do a whole sort of, is he the stepdad? And it's
right, because she does call him dad at the end, and there's an emotional beat there. You're right. It did not land for me. I'll just say that.
There should have been some setup where, Mom says to him, well, you're her stepdad now, and she's going to have to, that's that seems like such a world's easiest conflict, right?
It is. It's obvious. We all get it, and we can all relate. I mean, whether or not you've had it, you understand it.
Everybody understands that level of relationship and how it's rocky, and they're going to have to come to terms with that. And instead, they're you're her buddy, and now you have to sort of act like you're not her buddy.
Yeah.
In one scene, and she's just going to be confused by it, and it's not even going to be emotional. It's such a weird choice. It didn't make any sense to me.
Did other things in this movie make more sense to you?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Okay, boom, boom, boom. They crash into some bikes, and then we see Winston, and Winston...
Wait, Paul Rudd gets a really great joke. He gets to say, who puts bikes there? Oh, home run. Just crushed it.
Okay, good one. So
it's a scene ender, Dan. It's a joke, and it's a scene ender. It should probably be funny, but it's not, and they kept it in the movie. Why is that there?
Probably because Jerry Seinfeld wrote it.
Hey, I love it. What's the deal?
So now we see Winston. Winston's super rich, and so he's paying for everything.
Also, just real quickly, Dan, how good does Ernie Hudson look?
He looks great.
He looks so much younger. I don't know the real ages, but he looks so much younger than Bill and Dan.
Oh yeah, Bill Murray looks ancient.
Well, you're right about that. And so maybe he is. Maybe he's 10, 15 years older. I'm not sure. But Ernie Hudson still looks good.
And he's fairly believable as Winston. You're like, oh, 100%. I actually believe him as this guy.
Absolutely. Unlike, again, Dan Aykroyd.
Boom. So then, we do a little Winston scene to sort of set up that he's doing stuff and helping them and got, bought the firehouse and all that. And then we get a scene where they have to go and be yelled at by the mayor from the first movie. These are by far the worst things in the whole movie. He is so terrible.
He is terrible.
It's so bad.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's not aging as well mentally. I don't know. I mean, it's also not written well. Let's be very clear, because there aren't really jokes.
Well, and it's not appropriate. It's like doesn't make any sense.
I mean, first of all, it doesn't make sense because they're yelling about Phoebe. Like a lot of it is about. They
You're
destroy
too young
things.
to do this,
Right.
And
What?
She. They don't even know what her part in any of this is.
Yeah, super weird. I don't understand anything that's happening. The only reason that he works in the original is he's the butt of the jokes of Bill Murray.
Bill Murray stands there and makes
That's it.
100 jokes, and they cut out they edited the 6 best into a piece, and that's where you're
exactly.
Boom.
It's not like, oh, this character's so great from the original, let's bring him back. No, he was the butt of the joke, and then we don't do that again.
Well, and
very weird
because there's no one there to banter with him. Phoebe can't banter with him because Phoebe's the person who should be like, "Go fuck yourself."
But she was in the first movie. She was so snarky, very lippy. That was great, and they did it twice in this movie where they set up she's about to be snarky with someone, and then they cut to the next scene, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know she knew those words." We have to see her be lippy. We have to see that. It's ridiculous.
So the mayor is setting himself that I'm out to stop the Ghostbusters because that's what I did in the first Ghostbusters movie. Yeah. I'll teach you Ghostbusters to Ghostbust.
Yeah, hey guys, remember when we did this before? Let's do it again.
Okay, there's black mold in the firehouse. Phoebe tries to argue. Oh, so they're like, you're Phoebe, you can come join the team in 3 years. You're fired.
Right.
Okay.
What?
There she's fired.
Why?
She got fired because she's too young. Youth. You're gone. We're going to go out there and do the ghost busting because someone else can do it.
But nobody is like apologetic about it. Everyone's just like, oh, it'll be fine. It's only 3 years. Don't worry about it. First of all, as a kid, 3 years is a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
But like, if you feel bad about it, just like, we can't have you, but you can help here. I don't know. It's just really weird how everyone just gets on board with her being banished, even though, again, she's the only one with any skills. She's the one that gets out on the car and shoots in the ejector seat and shoots the proton. Like, we don't see anyone else do anything.
That is true.
But then they're gonna bench her?
That is true.
The movie is dumb.
Gary and Kelly have a talk about raising kids. They lock the ghost in the containment unit. The containment unit's going to be a problem. Didn't we already do in Ghostbusters 2 that the containment unit was a problem?
You remember these better than I do probably, but when this happened, I was like, yeah, we've already been here. I don't remember how they solved it, but this is all very deja vu.
I believe that was Ghostbusters Deja 2. Boom! Ray is shooting a TV show called Repossessed, a YouTube show where someone brings in something haunted, and then he checks it with the e-meter. And
I would watch this show.
You would watch that show?
Not only would I watch this show, my mother would be obsessed with this show, Dan. She watches all those terrible YouTube ghost hunting shows where people just go to the woods and like film and are like, did you hear something? Did you hear something? Whip camera on and then they yell and run. She loves those. She would fall in love with this show if this was on YouTube. Somebody should make this show for real.
And then a kid that you don't know who it is, and then you realize at a certain point that it's podcast from the first movie. He is
20 years older?
20 years older.
Is that possible?
Larger and thinner and more kind of good looking
and less funny.
Less funny. He's not funny. So then he hits the thing with the hammer, and the whole idea is that's the joke, is that he hits the bad thing with the hammer to destroy it. I don't know, because that's what joke in that? That's what gets the hits, because you have to do something.
But why would I just don't get, like, I genuinely, when that happened, I was like, you just ruined your own bit.
Because
it's weird.
Because that's funny, because you see, you need like a thing, like we could have like this like bird swoop in at a certain time, and then we like, it's bird time, and then we
celebrate.
We go like this. We go bird, bird, bird. Everybody
do the
go
bird,
like,
bird, bird. The bird is a word.
That's the copyrighted material.
Ah, shoot! I keep doing that.
So that's what it is.
Can we have a bird time?
No.
Oh, yeah, man. This is why we don't get any hits.
So Phoebe shows up. She's going to rap with Ray. She goes downstairs because podcast is living with Ray.
Right. Now that's weird.
No comments.
Somebody writing this movie needs to take a step back and be like, okay, this is inappropriate. Doesn't really matter what's going on. He lied to his parents and says that he's at computer camp or something.
Oh, space camp or something, yeah.
Space camp. And nope, he's living with a 75-year-old man who believes in ghosts. It's all weird. I don't know.
It is interesting how the young people have been transported without families into the situation because we gotta have. There's no Ghostbusters 2 without podcast. Everybody would have been like, "Oh, I'm angry.
I can't believe he wrote out podcast."
All the marshmallow dudes are in the basement, and they're mating. He says they're mating.
Right. What? Why? What's happening?
I don't know, man.
I mean, they're still cute, so I understand why you would want to bring them back because everyone loved them in the first one because they're cute and slightly psychopathic.
People liked that in the first movie?
I think people, I mean, listen, I didn't like the movie, right? No. So I don't really know, but I feel like people thought they were fun.
There it is.
I don't know.
Then Kumail comes in. He plays like a sort of scammer dude. He's got this box of stuff he's trying to sell. There's this orb. It's Mezzo-Arabic. It activates, and it messes up the containment unit or something.
Yeah, somehow.
It sort of activates and sends some stuff out and activates all the way back to the firehouse now.
Yeah.
Which sure seems like you would want to take this to the firehouse and have it do a thing when it gets to the firehouse.
Sure.
It should have tried to manipulate them to get itself back to the firehouse, but who knows?
Yeah, great. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Here's Tony's favorite part. Finn's room is leaking, so he goes to the attic. There's a giant pile of junk food, and Slimer's inside of it, and he slimes Finn.
Yep. That's it, though.
That's it.
Like, I'm cool if there's a reason for him to be in the movie. There's not.
Well, his reason to be in the movie is to give Finn something to do, which is to try to capture Slimer.
Yeah, okay, sure. That's not a plot in the movie we need.
That is not a plot anyone ever needs in their lives at all. Boom, alarm, everybody leaves. Phoebe goes to play chess alone in the park. What?
Yep, super weird.
And this ghost shows up. It is Melody. She's 16. She's 16. This 22-year-old woman is 16.
Yeah.
She talks like she is a contemporary person. She died in the teens in a tenement fire building.
Yeah.
She says she is 16, and she is the love interest in the movie.
I mean, kinda, yeah. Yeah. It's all super weird. There's not much else. It's super, super weird. I don't know.
And this is the super hot girl from The Babysitter.
Hold on. Not the super hot girl. She's the neighbor in The Babysitter.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. This is not Samara Weaving.
Oh, it isn't Samara Weaving. Oh, so it's
first of all, Samara Weaving's like 30. If she was playing the 16-year-old, we'd have even bigger problems.
Okay, you're right.
But yeah, so she's the weird neighbor in the first one, and then like the spoiler alert for Babysitter 2, she turns bad in Babysitter 2. I don't know.
So she's 22 playing 16, where the other girl is 17.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's 17. So they're 5 years apart, but they're hot for each other, sort of. And she talks.
Are they?
And she talks completely like a contemporary teenager.
Yeah,
and she's supposed to be from the past.
Confused. Like, so you're telling me they did say that she died a long time ago?
She died in a tenement fire. We don't have tenements anymore.
Okay, I thought she was talking about Tenet. She was at the movie Tenet, and it got fired.
No, she died in a tenement fire. She had the matchbook looked like it was 20s.
To be clear, she did not die she murdered her family, right?
It was an accident, her murdering her family.
Was it?
That's what she said.
Then why
It's an
does she keep
accident.
lighting the match? Like I get
don't-
I get
I don't know.
strong pyro vibes from her, and I understand why they're doing it is because they're setting up the end of this movie, which is terrible. But she's really obsessed with that fire. I mean, she's made herself on fire. Like she definitely killed her whole family on purpose.
And this girl that grew up in a tenement and in the 20s, beats Phoebe at chess twice.
Yeah, and
And
Phoebe's like a genius, right?
yeah, and she's all like, I've been playing a lot of chess all these years. And you're like, how?
Yeah,
Who?
because she also says in the same scene
Oh,
that whenever she does this, people always run away screaming. So she doesn't actually play chess. She gets maybe 2 moves, let's say. Two to 3 moves tops before people are like, wait a second, I'm playing against nobody. So stupid.
so we know that they're in love. She has unfinished business. What's her unfinished business, Tony?
Saving the ice planet? The Frozen Empire?
Don't know.
Also, is that the rules of Ghostbusters? Because I don't think it is.
I don't think there are rules, are there? Does the cartoon have rules? Maybe a cartoon had some rules, but
I don't know because I was trying to think back to the first movie when Egon apparates, disappears.
yeah.
He did it after he helped save. I guess maybe because he was the guy that knew about the mystery, the first one. So maybe that is what it is. I don't know.
Who knows? Okay, boom. The next day we go to the.
Wait, you didn't tell me what her unfinished business was. You asked me a question. I didn't have an answer. Oh, you don't know.
No, this movie doesn't answer
You're
that
asking
question.
questions that you don't know the answer to.
This movie should have been the 2 plots would have been the orb is going to release this ghost.
Yeah.
This is one train. The other ghost is her trying to figure out what's the deal with this girl, and then they intersect at the same location. It turns out this girl is working for the bad guy. Spoilers again.
I guess, yeah.
So terrible, so uninteresting.
And why is it Phoebe? Like, because at one point
we'll do that in a minute.
Okie doke.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, the next day we go to the other Ghostbusters facility. There's James A. Caster, Winston's guy. They've built this big unit, which is 4 times as big, and it's going to take them 7 years to transfer all the ghosts there or something. Whatever.
Something like that, yeah.
It's in an aquarium, paranormal research center. They have a ghost extractor where you put where the ghost is stuck in a thing, it extracts it, and then it sucks it into the thing. Okay, whatever. They put the...
Now, Dan, is that why Dan Aykroyd does his show? To collect haunted items and then get rid of the ghosts?
We don't know.
Okay. But don't you think that maybe that's maybe what they're doing, and that would have been an interesting thing to explore a little?
Or mention. Yeah, would have been
or mention. Yeah.
You could connect the things that are going on in this movie so they make sense.
And then maybe he brings the ghost ball into the machine and it releases the ghost, and we don't have to deal with this weird trick love story. I'm making you release the ghost for no reason.
The other thing is they have like this super hyper powerful orb, and they're just like, just throw it on the pile.
Just leave it.
Magic shit.
It's cool. Don't worry about it too much. It's locked.
We wouldn't want to extract the ghost out of the most powerful thing we've ever brought in here. But just throw it on a pile.
Cheers.
We meet the barf monster, and we meet the possessor. Possessor could take control of inanimate objects. Okay, right. Possessor. Guess that's going to be needed later.
Yeah.
Gary kind of... we have this sort of a semi-emotional scene where Gary's like, come help me, Phoebe. And then he's like, it's going to go okay, Phoebe. Just time flies when you're young. Which, of course, is not true.
It is not true at all. It flies when you're old.
And then Phoebe takes a call. Oh, then they leave, and then Phoebe takes a Ghostbusters call, and then her and Podcast are going to go do something.
Yeah, what? I don't know, man.
At the PRC, the orb is processed. Somebody gets a frozen hand, but not really. I mean, he has it in the sling the next time, but I'm sure at the end of the movie,
but other people don't. So it's confusing because at the end of the movie, everyone is frozen, but then in the next scene, they're fine.
So her and Podcast go to this diner where the ghost is. Oh, look, it's Melody. And then she's all like, oh. And then Podcast is like, do you know something? Do you understand something? Do you know something? And Phoebe's like this, oh. And then Podcast is like, I'm your only friend, right? Why don't you speak with me? And she's all like, oh. And then Phoebe leaves, and then they just blow out the window.
Right, which is weird.
And then they go outside, and it's called Melody's Diner.
Right.
That's her name.
Maybe that was her diner?
Maybe that was going to be a clue to what happened to her. I don't know.
No, it wasn't, though. So, yeah, I don't understand any of it. It doesn't make any sense. And also, like, to be fair, the Ghostbusters, all they do is destroy things. They actually don't do a good job.
Who's going to pay them to catch the sewer dragon?
Nobody. Who's going to pay for the window that they just shot out?
Winston.
Is he? Because from his deep pockets, do they say that that's what he's doing, covering their mistakes?
Back at the firehouse, Melody follows her back to the firehouse. They go downstairs. Nice digs. And they get the tour. She takes her down to the basement. And this was an interesting thing, is that we sort of, she's all like, you're putting people in there. It's kind of horrible.
And it is. Because we're starting to learn more about the lore of Ghostbusters, and it turns out, like, one, not all ghosts are evil. Two, there is a place to go after the ghost plane. So they're just keeping people in purgatory forever. It's actually horribly inhumane, and we just continue to do it. And we're the good guys.
Not a thought about
Very
it.
weird thing to bring up on your own movie.
It's almost like Phoebe could then go to them and say, we need to talk about this. And Winston could be like, well, I don't think so. And you could almost have maybe a plot where you begin to talk about how this all needs to be dealt with somehow.
With the humanity of maybe we should help ghosts move on instead of trapping them forever.
Maybe.
But then that's a different show. So, like, we can't do that.
No, that's a movie.
Is that a movie? Which one is that?
I mean, that's something you could do that's the thing you could explore in a movie that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Explores something as opposed to a movie that's like, no, we're going to go here. And we're going to have a funny joke. Maybe.
No, we're not. Don't be silly.
The orb starts freezing more of New York City, and then Melody goes outside and talks to the ghost in the orb, and we're like, oh, Melody's working against the Ghostbusters. She doesn't want to just have sex with Phoebe.
Which is too bad, She deserves it.
Finn
She's a good kid.
Fails at Slimer again.
Why? Why can't we just give him a real storyline? Feels weird, disingenuous.
They go to see Kumail. They go to the back room. We get a bunch of sex dungeon jokes. You must have loved those sex dungeon jokes, right?
I did enjoy the part.
Hold on.
Sorry.
How Phoebe's here, right?
Yeah, because she's one of the ones that says it.
Why is Phoebe making sex dungeon
I have no idea. Well, because she's a horny teenager. That's what we've learned from this movie. She's trying to get it on with a ghost. She's trying to Patrick Swayze that shit. It's super weird and awkward, but there is one moment where Kumail's like, stop making sex jokes about my recently deceased grandma, and that was funny.
He's funny even in this.
He's a funny guy.
You're like, this is a guy I want to see be funny. He doesn't really get to be funny in this movie, but
just a couple of times. But when it does, it's nice, because he's a talented guy.
Very talented. Phoebe has some private time to talk to Ray about ghosts. Podcast. I wrote video of Orb talking. Then they go on the Ecto C. They hear some talking in this video. So they're like, let's go to someplace. Ray has a motorcycle with a sidecar, which is the Ecto C.
What does the C stand for, you think?
A cycle? Like motorcycle?
Oh, yep. No, I bet you're right.
No,
look at you having brains and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of us.
Well, that's why we have different talents, Dan.
What are yours?
I look pretty.
Oh, yeah, nice hairdo on your Timberwolves blue crew.
First of all, that was 20 years ago. All right, so I'm still, but I had hair. You know what I mean? I had long flowing hair. Well, I didn't flow, but I had long hair.
Did you?
And I miss those days.
Get perms and shit.
I didn't get perms, but I did frost my tips, as they say. So I did used to bleach the top of it.
So now we have this one scene where Bill Murray asks one question of Kumail because they're trying to figure out, because he's magical. They test him and he's magic.
Yeah.
So they are going to ask, like back to the whole, where Bill Murray's character asks the people the questions as he's trying to hit on the girls. Incredibly funny scene. It's a funny scene because it talks about his character. His character's a sleaze.
Exactly.
Zapping the man wanted to get with the girl. Wow. It tells us about who he is. And then plays that character.
Then they continue to explore that character throughout the rest of the movie, which is wonderful, as opposed to doing one scene where he's that way and then pretending he's not that way the rest of the movie, which is what we do nowadays.
Well, we don't have him the rest of the movie. We only have
I mean in general.
Oh, sure.
That's always a complaint for movies that we watch, is like we have one scene where he's a character and it's slightly negative, and then they're like, no, we're just kidding. He's actually a really great guy.
You can't have a negative character because no one's going to fall in love with that.
And that's so wrong. I love flawed characters.
So Ray pulls the Ecto-C and parks it right in front of the big library, goes in.
Which you can't, I don't think you can actually do that, but it's fine.
They do a joke with that. He's all like, that's okay, they know me here. And then he walks up there and the guy that runs the library is like, you can't be here.
You're banned.
I'm like, okay, that's what this movie should be, but we shouldn't have Bill Maher.
Sure.
We shouldn't have Dan Aykroyd doing these things.
Right. I mean, listen, you only got 3 of them left, so it's hard. It's hard, and he's the easiest one to get,
And the sad thing is Bill Murray's still very, very funny.
Yes, he is. The guy's got it,
If he gives a shit, he's going to give it to you.
And it's a big if, but if you can get it.
Boom! They go down there, and who's the person they're going to see? The library folklorist who's in the basement, played by Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
They should have done something with him, like put a wig on him or beard on him or clothes
not just
on him.
have Patton be
Patton. Patton, just come on down.
Yeah. Do a day.
Wear your own clothes.
Yeah. We're not going to pay. Just come on down and hang out for 4 hours.
Boom. Then he takes them down to the library, below the library. We get a whole thing. He figures out who the bad guy is. It's Garaka, who's this guy that control Army of the Dead. And
here's my problem, Dan, is he sees the orb, right? And he immediately knows exactly what it is.
He saw a picture of it in the thing.
But not only a picture of it, he saw a picture of a stone carving, which looks nothing like the orb, other than it's a circle.
It's a little circle about
right, and this is the only other circle in the world. And he's like, I know, I've seen this circle before.
It sure seems like it should have been a lot larger in one of the images,
right?
just like a little bit.
Ridiculous.
So this guy can control an army of the undead. Did we ever see an army?
Can he?
Did we see an army of the undead? He uses fear as a weapon, and he can kill you with fear.
No, he can't.
He
kills you with cold. I saw the movie.
And
he freezes people and icicles. He shoots you with icicles of fear. Yeah.
Then they talk about the fire masters, and we're like, oh, the person in the first scene was a fire master. Oh, the grandma was a fire master. They use fire and brass. We're like, oh yeah, we saw all this brass. We know exactly what's happening. Then he's like, oh, and now we got to go into these wax recording cylinders. And this is the one joke I liked. He said,
oh, wow, okay.
One of these, he's like, oh, yeah, on one of these cylinders, we have the only case of Mary Todd Lincoln saying the F word. Apparently, she saw a moth.
A moth? I didn't even hear this joke.
This is the best joke in the whole show. Patton Oswalt delivered it perfectly.
Well, because again,
huge laugh. He's very good at delivering a joke and being.
Yep.
And you're just like,
if you give him jokes, he'll give you a joke.
They gave him one. He landed that joke.
And the third one, he might get 2 jokes.
And then he tells the story of what we saw in the opening, the prelude. the prologue.
Which, by the way, I already saw it. I don't need you to recap it.
Yeah, we did. So,
in fact, this would be almost a time for that to be seen in a flashback while he's telling me that story. And the beginning of the movie would have been the beach scene.
Could be. Now the possessor then steals the wax disc because they need the wax disc.
Right. What? Why is it even there? What was it possessing on the way?
It was in like a pen or something.
All right. Yeah.
So it possesses out of the thing. It goes outside and then it grabs the lion, the lion in front of the thing. And then Phoebe finally zaps it with a proton pack that's in the thing and gets destroyed. Right. Later on, when we go back to the library, lion's fine.
It's there. Yeah, it's fine.
Why? Isn't that a point where you like put a thing around that? Some tape or something.
Some caution tape,
and
there's still a little rubble, maybe. Sure. Yeah.
Like it's destroyed. I don't understand.
No, it's fine.
They just
we have back hundreds together? Of them. Don't worry, Dan. That's why, and it's so weird because then they get in trouble for destroying it. But it was going to kill people because it was running around and getting ready to eat people, right? So
and I believe once again she gets in trouble for it as opposed to the adult stepping in and saying it's all my fault.
Right. I took her to the library and
I gave her the
shit
thing,
happened.
And no adult ever steps up and tries to take the blame for Phoebe. It's so weird.
It is bizarre.
Oh, hold on. They arrest the kids. Then Winston yells at them yells at them. Doesn't yell at Ray. He yells at the kids.
Yep. Who he employs, pretty much, by the way.
Why'd you do it? And then the terrible mayor comes out. The Ghostbusters are over. Arrest her. They say arrest her. She's 15 years old.
She's 15. She's not going to get arrested.
You can't arrest someone that's 15.
Right, yeah. Like, she might get, what is it, juvie?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she won't.
And then he's like, we're taking your firehouse. We're taking your everything. We're revoking your ghostbusting license. And you're just like, how do you take their firehouse? I don't understand.
I have no idea.
Did the firehouse break the law? What did the firehouse do?
Yeah, well, it's a bad firehouse. It's a naughty, naughty firehouse, all right?
And then the parents show up and they're like, you're not grounded, you're fired. She was already fired. Mom, you're not a Spangler. And then, Gary, wake up. I don't know what that was about. And then Phoebe just walks out. And you're like, how is Phoebe just walking? I don't understand. She would have to go out with her parents if she was leaving the police department,
No,
right?
she can walk. She's fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, now Ray and Winston fight. You could have gotten those kids hurt. Go on a vacation, Winston. Ray.
Which doesn't make sense because Winston employs her as a Ghostbuster. They could get hurt on any Ghostbusting case. Why is he mad that someone else brought her on a Ghostbusting case? That doesn't make sense. There are a couple moments in this movie where people get mad at things that they do. It's really weird.
Oh, it's because they want someone to be mad.
Right, but they're picking the wrong people. So it's very confusing.
We're going to make this scene intense where you're going to care about these characters. Someone's getting mad at them, and you're like, Winston's the guy that should never get mad.
Oh, especially about a thing that he does on a daily basis. Very confusing.
They go back to the firehouse. They've taken all their stuff, even though later on they have all their stuff. Oh, I guess they have all this. They make more stuff because you just make more stuff.
I guess, but they make it really fast.
And then they're like, we should just leave New York City. We can't leave because this is the home of the Ghostbusters. And that's all we care about is busting ghosts.
Which is very strange.
There's the truth of the whole thing, right? In the first movie, Ray and Egon, that's their dream is to bust ghosts, right?
Yes.
So they are always pushing it forward.
Let's do this. And then they bring Eddie Murphy along reluctantly, which is why he gets to say all those jokes.
Eddie Murphy. You said Eddie Murphy.
Oh my God. Bill Murray. Damn it.
You said Eddie Murphy. That's so funny. So they bring Bill Murray along. He's reluctant. Yeah. At every point, he's your guy that's like, no, let's not do this. No.
And he brings comedy because he's a contrarian.
He's the contrarian to the two hardcore people. Your problem with this thing is that Phoebe is the motivator.
Right. And then you fire her.
And they make her sort of the contrarian, or you make her the adversarial role.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And it just does not make any emotional sense. So boom, we go get Ray. I mean, we go get Kumail, and he's gonna be. We gotta make him work on his fire powers. So that's what Podcast and Ray are doing. Gary talks to Phoebe, but really he's talking to the door because she's out there hanging out with Melody, and then she's all like, if I go into the new lab, I could turn myself into a ghost. And she's all like, yeah, okay, I suppose.
It's the reverse Casper. Remember Casper? The movie?
Yeah, Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci turns Casper into a real boy.
Then maybe saw it once, maybe.
So, I mean, it's the same. It's this exact same story, only the opposite, where Christina Ricci finds a way to make Casper a real boy, and then they make out. I think they go to a dance or something.
Have sex?
No, they dance.
Do?
I think. No, they dance. I think they dance.
But their private parts.
They push the private parts together and they dance. But then in this movie, we're going the opposite direction, and Phoebe's gonna ghostify herself. So it's the same story.
And we're all like, "Wait a second.
Yeah.
When did this become a thing?"
Never. It never, because it takes a ghost out of an inanimate object. It doesn't take a ghost out of a person.
Then they're like,
your body's not inanimate.
Then it'll be like, and it'll last for 2 minutes. Why does she want to?
Do you guys already have tests on this? You know how long it's going to last? That's weird.
Why does she want to do this?
For ghost sex. Which is weird because honestly, you'd want to do it the other way around because ghosts can't really touch each other. You know what I'm saying?
It was so weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. What's even more confusing, though, is that she somehow talks when she's disembodied. Her real body's talking. That's not how that works. Your ghost is out of your body.
Well, you'd think so.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. So her ghost leaves, and then we find out that this was their whole plan.
Right.
Because
what?
They need a human to speak the words, even though it was a gramophone that spoke the words before. Right.
So just do that again.
Or maybe someone in the Adventurers Club listened to the thing and then sang.
It was like retelling. Yeah,
they all sang along with the
Guys, what a hit! Here we go.
And so Phoebe's doing this because the Garrock is going to let her see her family.
Yeah, I think that means she's moving on. I think, right?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because she said, because she burned her whole family to death on purpose. And now they're in heaven and she wants to get there, I guess.
And she says, I'm sorry, but now Garrock just takes control over Phoebe? Why didn't Garrock just take constant control over Melody? And why would she trust Melody? I don't understand any of this.
It was because it doesn't make any sense. You're all alone in that, Dan. Everybody else gets it.
Okay. So Garrock is now free, and he leaves. And what is the first thing he does? What is the absolute first thing he does?
I don't know. He stands in the street.
He attacks a smoke shop that's called like the Fire Master. And then kills a guy and says, are you the Fire Master?
Oh, right. Sure. Like the Key Master.
What?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, I just got that, Dan. Fire Master, Key Master.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've made that connection. That's wonderful stuff.
Pretty stupid. And then he goes to his apartment and gets his horns.
Now, is that how horns work? He just plugs them back in.
Sure.
Sure.
It's a ghost. What does he care?
That's a good point.
Now, at this point, do days pass?
You got me.
So now we get the ice attack on the beach and the bridge.
Which is the only part of the movie I really enjoyed.
Now, does Kumail live in like across a bridge from where they are? I don't understand.
I have no idea, Dan.
Because why is he come? he comes in off the ocean for a reason. I don't know.
I don't know either. We never will.
And then, okay, what did you like about it? You said you liked this.
Yeah, because it just gives off disaster movie vibes, which is fun, and I think it would be a great beginning to a film about a frozen empire.
And then all of New York is frozen.
And then we don't deal with that.
Is anyone killed? Is anyone affected?
No, because it's fine. Listen, you can freeze and unfreeze. So then I do have a question about the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
All of those people that were frozen in that room.
Why did the fire master save them?
Yeah, they're fine.
They should.
From my understanding, they're fine.
Nope.
It's confusing.
Okay, boom. Let's see. I stack on the bridge. Now they're driving across the bridge, and now we have some wacky banter. We haven't done any wacky banter in a long time. Let's do some wacky banter.
It's been a minute. Let's put some in.
Boom, boom, boom. And now we find out that the bad guy is going to he wants to empty the tank that's in the firehouse. That was his whole plan.
And he does, though, right? Doesn't he do that?
I don't know. Yeah, he does.
Because then they put him in the tank.
He booms it and it shoots up.
Right. So where are all those ghosts?
They're like shot up in the red and loosed. They're all loosed.
But we don't deal with that.
No. That's what they're going to do. Ghostbusters 3 is collecting everybody that got
Ghost
World.
World.
Go free. Got to catch lots of ghosts again, and maybe we'll deal with.
Although it'll probably be just like Jurassic Park, where Jurassic Park 2 they unleash all these dinosaurs on mainland USA, and then in Ghostbusters or in Jurassic Park 3, we don't deal with it. It's fine.
We have a secret dinosaur flea market underneath the building. Right? Isn't that what we have? Because that makes a lot of sense.
Right. That's it.
Because that's how it would work. Kumail has his armor. I wrote, why was Slimer in the movie? We're going to find out in a minute. Possessors.
Yeah, I don't agree that that's reason enough. I'm just going to say.
Possessor tries to kill them with Ecto-1. Then he gets in a pizza and a proton pack. And then Slimer eats the piece of pizza that Possessor is in while Possessor is in the piece of pizza.
And then he's dead?
And as he eats it...
Don't you ignore my question. Is he dead? What happened to Possessor? Why doesn't he just possess something else? He can jump around.
Finn says, I know that guy. Hold on. Phoebe's like, this guy can't deal with brass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of our 10 proton packs and I'm going to coat the stuff in brass. I'm going to... And what is one of the brass things they use?
I don't know. What was it?
The poles they slide down. They went at the pole with a hacksaw. Are the poles ever damaged later on?
No, because we use them all the time.
Somebody needed to slide down the pole.
and then drop. Also, why is she the only one that does the brass? If she thinks it's going to work, wouldn't all of them do the brass?
Or you'd have somebody doing the brass, and then they'd have to get it to her, and then we'd have to do this whole thing, and then that would be the tension that they would do. Will they be able to finish this in time?
And then she would have her redemption arc. I mean, quote unquote. She doesn't need it. But the whole thing is like, they're like, you can't be a part of the Ghostbusters, but then she's got to be the reason that they win, right?
Yeah. They got to say, that brass won't work. And then she's like, it will work. And then she's up there doing it. And they're all like, we're going to go down and fight there. And you're going to be a big baby and cry up in your breast situation. And she's all like, fuck you, Mom. I know. I'm a real Egon and a real Spangler. And Spanglers. And then she's all like, you're not a Spangler. You're just a crying baby. And then she comes down the pole shooting brass fire.
Brass. Yeah, no, that would be great. Yeah.
Boom, Kumail. So all of America's frozen. Kumail tries to come down and fire master it, but his lighter doesn't work because they used it too much and all the propane's gone. And so then the Garg takes the lighter, like, I crush your lighter. Also, there's like the chain mail on the front that protects him. He, of course, takes that off immediately because you got to see the actor. Ooh, it would be
Yeah.
crazy if you didn't see, Tony Stark. I'm Iron Man, but I fly around with my face exposed.
My face just wide open.
24/7. So, all of their things fail because they don't have brass. Phoebe zaps in and it's working.
Oh, wait, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
So, in an earlier scene, the sidekick girl, whose name I do not recall, faces off against the cold guy, and he freezes her proton stream. Is that what's ion stream? What's it called?
Proton stream, sure.
Great. Freezes it, and it falls down. So then when she tells everyone what happened, she's like, my gun barely even made a dent.
Didn't work, yeah.
But that's not what happened. He froze your stream. And then he does it again in this scene, and everyone is surprised that he froze the streams. Yeah. But he already did it, and she would have told you that. It's very weird.
Yeah, they weren't paying attention. They're adults. Adults don't listen to stupid children.
Is that what this movie's about?
Children have nothing to say. Shut up, children.
Shut up, children.
So Melody lights her last match. Kumail takes the fire, and they're getting him. And then this is the thing I hated the most in the entire movie.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we got Phoebe with the thing, and then all the old Ghostbusters go downstairs because they're going to use the trap to capture the god.
Right.
So to give everybody something to do, everybody puts their hands around Phoebe, including Finn. And if you look at it, Finn's like...
He's trying so hard to get in the group, but they didn't tell him how to do it. Like, they didn't plan this out beforehand. And they're just like, you all have to join. And he's back here doing his best to get in. He just can't do it. The poor kid is set up to fail in that scene. It's ridiculous.
And then all the old Ghostbusters are down, and they're trying to throw the switch. And they're all like, it's going to take 40 people. Every Ghostbuster ounce of geriatric power to click the switch. It's so dumb that like the collective effort is pushing a switch or pushing on Phoebe.
Yeah,
as opposed to
touching.
As opposed to figuring something out. Like
doing something as a team that would require everyone's skills and expertise.
You know, all stupid Melody did was light a single match. There must be some more matches around. There must be, like have everybody, like everyone's like going through everything, trying to find
some
something,
hairspray,
whatever. They're trying to figure out how to light a flame. Somebody's up on the gas stove and they light a piece of spaghetti and try and carry the piece of spaghetti down there. Spaghetti not burning well because it's
that's
spaghetti.
A Paul Rudd character moment there.
Yeah. Oh, spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
But no, they're all just going to stand behind Phoebe and push on her.
Yeah, it's fine.
And they win. And Melody says goodbye. The beach is okay. The library lion is okay.
So what was her final business? Unfinished business?
She needed to light that match to save.
Using that last match.
Yeah.
What?
And not burning down some other family. She didn't kill another family.
Okay, so her unfinished business is starting a fire without casualties. Is that what you're telling me?
That is exactly the unfinished. We have solved the mystery.
All right. Oh, boy.
Everybody cheers for the Ghostbusters because they know what happened in the firehouse.
They sure
away
don't.
From the sight of everyone is what saved the city.
No, sir.
No, Tony. Nope. That's why they're cheering for them because they're
cheering for a different reason. We don't know what it is, but it's got to be a different reason than that because that doesn't make any sense.
The mayor comes out to yell at them, and then they're like, "There's a newscaster," and the newscaster's like, "The Ghostbusters saved everyone. Don't you want to say that they saved everyone, Mayor?" And he's all like,
"Right."
And then everyone's like, "Woo! Cue the music."
So weird.
And Gary,
it's such an awkward scene. It doesn't make any sense.
It's so terrible because they're trying to do the first movie in the New Yorker.
Yeah.
We love the Ghostbusters. That scene really worked in Ghostbusters.
You would, because they got to see everything that happened. The Ghostbusters took down a giant marshmallow guy in that movie.
Yep, they did.
Everybody knew what was happening. Nobody knows what's happening in this movie.
Giant marshmallow guy comes through the town, destroys things, and then they kill it.
And then they zap him.
It doesn't matter about Zool and everything else that happened on top of the building. Everybody sees that the marshmallow guy got killed.
Exactly.
Period.
Yep.
Boom, done.
Yep, end of story. Like, that's all you need.
Nope.
This takes place on private property, inside. Nobody knows what's going on.
He built an ice wall behind him, so no one can see in. No one can see it. Maybe podcast should have been videotaping and been useful.
Live streaming. He should live stream it.
Oh my God, I can't believe what's happening. Right? We live in the TikTok generation. We live in the live stream generation. Do that.
100%. His name is Podcast. Give him something to do.
He had nothing. I'm the guy with the hammer. What?
Yeah,
You're the guy behind the camera. You're making a YouTube. You're the camera guy. You're the guy that makes the show happen, right? You're the loser like Tony that puts the show up.
Hey, we're important.
The sidekick whose only job is to record Dan Goodsell talking.
Oh, I forgot to push record today. We got to start over. Yeah, no, I don't understand. I don't understand why everyone's excited.
Talk to us, podcast. Where's your hammer, Tony?
I'm not good with hammers. Like I hit a lot of thumbs, as they say.
You got to think about what our hammer could be for the show.
What our thing is,
the bird or like Groucho Marx, in the You Bet Your Life, he said the secret word and the bird came down. It was like, it had the secret word.
So you stole the bird idea. Is that what you're telling me? That was our best idea, and it turns out it was already done.
There's no new ideas, Tony.
That's true. You're right about that.
We find out that Phoebe calls Gary dad, and I'm like, they're married?
Right, yeah.
And then
weird.
Finn gets to drive. Now Finn's going to be the Ghostbuster driver.
Which is the first thing that he does in the whole movie.
No, I know that guy. He recognized Slimer.
Oh, he recognized the guy that he's been chasing the whole movie?
When Slimer ate the thing that possesses things and could just as easily leave again and continue to possess.
No, his stomach ironclad, even though he's a ghost.
More importantly, how do you ever catch Possessor?
You can't, right? Like,
can he just jump into the sidewalk and he just possesses this whole sidewalk?
Yeah, he can possess anything. I don't know what to tell you, Dan. I didn't write that character.
What are the terms of oh God, Possessor. Why didn't he have the lion and the plinth that was on? And the plinth you rode it on. So this movie is dumb.
Yeah.
But
it's not very good.
Didn't make me angry.
It did make me a little angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because mostly because Phoebe was the only character from the first movie that I enjoyed, and I don't feel like they kept the same character for this movie.
She's not enjoyable. No.
Yeah, and that's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a waste. But that's what Hollywood is. Hollywood's this giant waste pit.
I'd like to just go on record and say I love Hollywood, and I would love to work in it. So don't listen to Dan Goodsell. There's good stuff out there. We see good stuff all the time.
There's tons of great stuff out there.
You more than me, obviously.
That's true, because I actually watch stuff. Tony's like, I'll rewatch the same thing. I watch it 1,000 times because I need nostalgia. I need to feel good about myself.
You're making fun of me for nostalgia. They just made this movie completely based on nostalgia. So it works, Dan. Not for me, but it works.
So that's Ghostbusters. If you like our show, subscribe, give us a thumbs up or a like.
No, they're not going to do that. It's too late, Dan. Podcast would have never left it to this late. All right,
podcast. We need podcasts. That's what we need.
We really do.
Now we talk about something we liked. We watched the new show Bodkin with Will Forte.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's like the Irish girl and the Scottish girl,
and it's produced by the Obamas.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Shannon got very annoyed at the last episode. She got very annoyed.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But there were a lot of good characters. The characters were really interesting.
Love that.
It was mining some interesting areas, and there was definitely some twists and turns that you did not expect, and you're like, okay, it's not a home run, but I would say it was worth watching.
Like a solid double. That's a baseball reference, Dan. You brought up a home run, so I said a double.
3-pointer. 1 3-pointer right in the middle of the game.
That's the wrong sport.
The wrong sport.
That's field goal.
Okay, what do you got for us, Tony?
We watch The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And I thought it was delightful.
That's whatchamacallit. That's
Guy Ritchie?
Guy Ritchie.
Is that his name?
Yeah. The podcast I watched, The Rest is Entertainment, with Richard Osman and Marina, whatever Marina's last name is. She hates Guy Ritchie. And so it's so funny because she just hates Guy Ritchie and everything he does.
Well, he does have a particular style. So it's one of those guys that's easy. If you don't like it, you'll never like anything he does.
Because she thinks it's not real. You know, it's
not real.
It's this super big fiction of sort of his own way of what. Okay, so gentlemen,
100%.
You had fun with it?
Oh yeah, that was for me 10 out of 10. Henry Cavill, unhinged, very sexy, and then Reacher's in it, whatever his name is.
Oh, Reacher's in it.
Alan Richson, yeah,
the man,
awesome.
man/wall.
So good, yeah.
Oh, I like it.
And it's fun. It's big. It's big and fun and flashy. You know, it's Guy Ritchie, but it's a great time. And then I was like, I want to learn more about these guys. Don't make that mistake. They're all dead.
What do you mean?
None of them. So this was like their first mission as this team.
Isn't this a World War II thing?
It is a World War II. Yes, let me explain what I meant by they're all dead.
I would think they were all dead.
None of them made it out of the war. Except for the girl, the woman in this movie. She lived. All of the men all died on later missions.
Wow.
All of them. And I was so depressed that night when I started doing research. The guy, spoiler alert, the character that Henry Cavill plays, this was their first mission as a team. He dies on the second mission. It's horrible.
Wow.
So very depressing. Don't pay attention to the real stuff, but enjoy the movie. So it's not depressing.
So the second one is the sequel is going to be very dark.
I doubt it. And also, it's probably not getting a sequel. I don't think it did very well.
That movie was like a movie where you're like, in another age, this might have been paid attention to. In this age,
100%.
No one cares.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, correct.
I mean, think about what was the Guy Ritchie that Iron Man did? That they did like 12 of them.
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh yeah, those are bad. And how many of those did they make? They made like three of them.
I think it was 3. Yeah.
Like back in 2022, they were just like, we got to make another one of those.
Would have been, would have been perfect.
And now you're like, oh yeah, your movie, no one cares.
But I think I liked the last 2 Guy Ritchie films a lot, and I think they both did terrible. Maybe it's not the last 2.
We watched The Gentleman and both really enjoyed it.
The Gentleman's great. What was the one with Josh Hartnett that nobody liked? Because I liked that a lot. Operation Gumbo Drop. I don't know. I made the second word up. It's definitely Operation something.
Yeah. I remember the title.
I'm looking it up right now. Operation Fortune. So Gumbo Drop. Same idea.
Did not see it. Did not see the Gumbo.
I enjoyed it. I love Josh Hartnett. Well, and I'm excited for his new movie. He's doing the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
What is it?
Something about a concert. I saw the trailer last week. I don't remember, but it looks great.
M. Night, send that check to us for promoting the hell out of your show.
Promoting your movie.
Jesus, Tony.
Just go to Josh Hartnett's IMDb. It'll be there.
So we're gonna do some action since we're talking about action.
Ooh, ACTION, action boys, action.
I wanted to do this one like a couple weeks ago because this one it must be directed or written by somebody that did one of the movies we just did. I was like, oh yeah,
makes sense.
I watched the trailer and I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta see this one.
All right,
it's called Hitman Agent 47.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, great. I've been wanting to see this for a while.
I think it stars someone named Rupert Friend.
Oh, this isn't Timothy Olyphant's
This isn't the Hitman. Timothy Olyphant. I've seen that one. It's not that one's not great. The Timothy Olyphant one, the bald cap problem.
Sure.
No, this one's some other. I think it's a different
2015. Yeah, that checks out.
Some other different video game. Something around.
You're right. Rupert Friend.
Whoever that is.
He's a guy. Scandal. Hey, he was in Asteroid City, so he's doing great.
Freight train goes
You
so
love
fast.
that movie.
Freight train. Did you ever watch it?
Yeah, we watched it one weekend. I remember that. I don't think I hated it, right? I think I said it was fine. I don't know. They're weird. He's weird. All right.
They're very
It's
weird.
really
It
weird.
was really pretty. That was one of the most
Yeah, it looks
pretty
great.
movies I've ever seen.
Oh, this guy plays the Grand Inquisitor in Obi-Wan Kenobi for 4 episodes.
I think I made it through the first episode, and then I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, Obi-Wan's got to protect Princess Leia Jr." And I was like, "I'm out. I'm out."
I'm out. No thanks.
Make it a story about something. You know, it's like the stupid.
That's why Obi-Wan is her only hope.
You know, the thing they did with Andor that they realized is let's just make a story that doesn't just talk about all the stupid characters that we're all fucking sick of.
Yeah, it doesn't have to like connect to the main stuff. Like I just like stories in this universe. It's an interesting universe.
Pick one character and then just tell their story. You can maybe have an occasional person show up. If Princess Leia Jr. showed up for like a minute, but that can't be the plot. It can't be the plot. It can't be the plot.
It can and was. So you're wrong.
It was the plot.
Yeah, I don't really, full disclosure, I don't really watch the Star Wars stuff anymore. So I'm out. I gave up.
You're not going to watch The Acolyte?
I don't even know. I don't know what that's about. I haven't watched the last like 3 or 4 things they did.
Did you ever watch Andor?
Nope, never watched Andor. Didn't watch what's her name's Ahsoka.
Ooh, it was bad.
I believe it. Yeah. So I don't know. We're just kind of out on the whole universe at this point.
He's done with that universe. Well, the Phil Lord and the other guy are taking over all of the Sony Spider-Man Marvel Universe TV shows. They just took them over.
Okay. What shows are those?
No clue.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Having rewatched that latest Spider-Verse movie so many times.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite movie of if it came out this year, it's my favorite movie of this year. Or if it came out last year, my favorite movie of last year.
I mean, it was definitely not this year, right?
I don't know.
Nah. I don't know either.
Okay.
Time is a construct.
That's for sure. Well, my disc is almost full, Tony.
Uh-oh, we better get out of here then.
Better get out of here. So, we'll be back next week talking about Hitman Agent 47.
47. Goodbye, everybody!
Hey, watch it!